State House of Assembly against him. In the suit filed today, the Deputy Governor asked the court to stop the impeachment process against him pending the hearing and determination of the suit. The Ondo State House of Assembly last week began the process of impeaching the Deputy Governor. The lawmakers had forwarded a letter to Mr. Yedatiwa over an allegation of gross misconduct while in office as acting governor. Defendants in the suit filed by the Deputy Governor include the Ondo State Government, the State Governor, the State House of Assembly, the Speaker of the House, the Clerk of the House, and the State Chief Judge.
Governor Seyi Makinde has approved the appointment of general managers and executive secretaries of the Oyo State Civil Service. This was contained in a statement signed by the State Head of Service, Mrs. Olubomioni. The appointees are Mr. Dairo Jacob Olutayo, Executive Secretary, State Universal Basic Education Board, Engineer Dekola Johnson Olusegun, General Manager, State Road Maintenance Agency, Mr. Adeluto Adeniyi Mumini, General Manager, State Rural Water Supply and Sanitation Agency, Mr. Mustafa Kolawale, General Manager, State Water Corporation, and Mr. Adilakun James Adegoke, General Manager, Broadcasting Corporation of Oyo State. The Head of Service enjoined the newly appointed officers to work for the success of the present administration in their various ministries, departments, and agencies. The appointments take immediate effect.
Governor Seyi Makinde has reassured the people of Ogbomoso Zone that his government will give priority to development needs and requests made during the stakeholders' consultative meeting for the year 2024 budget. This was contained in the governor's message to the meeting attended by all stakeholders in the zone in Ogbomoso town. The requests included rehabilitation of more roads, recruitment of primary school teachers, loan opportunities, improved primary health care services, among others. Governor Makinde, who was represented by his Chief of Staff, Chief Segun Guri, thanked the people of Ogbomoso Zone for their support during the last gubernatorial election. Earlier, the State Commissioner for Information and Orientation, Prince Otunyi Lade, the Commissioner for Budget and Economic Planning, Professor Adetunji Babatunde, and the Executive Assistant to the Governor on Finance, Budget and Economic Planning, Alhaji Kolawole Bello, said the stakeholders meeting was to ensure transparency on year 2024 state budget.
The Shoro of Ogbomoso land, Oba Folabi Olaoye, has commended Governor Seyi Makinde for the various people-oriented programs of his administration that have made life better for the populace. Oba Olaoye gave the commendation while hosting the Chief of Staff to the Governor, Honorable Segun Gui, Local Government Council Chairman, and other political appointees from the Ogbomoso Zone. According to BCS correspondent in Ogbomoso, Aderemi Akomu, the traditional ruler also used the opportunity to reiterate his commitment to the development of Ogbomoso land and the state. He also thanked Governor Makinde for approving his selection and emergence as the 21st Shon. Honorable Segun Gui in his remarks explained that the purpose of the visit was to formally congratulate the new royal father and to also intimate him of the stakeholders consultative and town hall meeting on the 2024 budget in Ogbomoso Zone. The visiting delegation included the Oyo State Commissioner for Information and Orientation, Prince Otunyi Lade, the Commissioner for Agriculture and Rural Development, Barrister Lason Alair, the lawmaker representing Ogoluwa's Rural State Constituency, Honorable Abidin Ogudari, and local government chairman in Ogbomoso, among other political appointees in the zone.
Meanwhile, the Shoro of Ogbomoso land, Oba Folabi Olaoye, joined the congregation at the Methodist Cathedral, Arowomole, Ogbomoso, for his first Sunday service since he was installed as the 21st traditional ruler of the ancient town. Oba Olaoye was accompanied by the Shawin Council, led by the Ariago of Ogbomoso land, High Chief Shobalajo Tolorin. BCOS Ogbomoso correspondent Aderemi Akomu covered the service. Here are the details. In a short exhortation, Right Reverend Ademola Muradero, who spoke on the topic, "This is He," maintained that God chooses leaders at appropriate time, as the 20-month delay before appointment of the new Shah of Ogbomosho was for the Oyo State Governor to put a round peg in a round hole, and for the Sean kingmakers who had put heads together before official pronouncement of the new Shah. Right Reverend Muradoyo explained that the new Shah was enthroned for some purposes, including restoration of unity among royal fathers of Ogbomosho land, sustainability of love, peace, security, harmony among residents of Ogbomosho, and settlement of rifts between members of the Laoye ruling house, among others. The cleric further called on the monarch to continue to seek God's directive to ensure development and progress in Ogbomosho and the state in general. While speaking, Oba Olaoye, who was enthusiastic, commended the administration of Governor Seyi Makinde over its efforts towards his appointment and installation as the 21st Shah of Ogbomosho, saying he was at the church to appreciate the support of Right Reverend Muradoyo during the race. The monarch, who described himself as light, promised to use his vast experience alongside wisdom of God to ensure sustainability of peace, unity, progress, and development in the ancient town of Ogbomosho. The special service featured special prayer for the monarch, paying of homage to Kabiyesi by children, and thanksgiving by the families of Bishop and others. The service was attended by Mogaji of Laoye ruling house, Prince Amos Olaoye, Sean chiefs, princes and princesses of Laoye ruling house.
Well, this broadcast of Newscope comes to you from the Broadcasting Corporation of Oyo State, Ibadan. Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Prince Lateef Fagbemi, has challenged the National Assembly to initiate a constitutional amendment that would create a role for traditional rulers in the country. Prince Lateef Fagbemi stated this while speaking with our reporter, Bode Akinjola, on traditional institutions and constitutional roles. But his report is presented by Mosimladi Oluwa Shuremeko.
One of the defects of the 1999 Constitution is the deliberate denial of any role whatsoever for the traditional rulers. A view through the pages of the 1999 Constitution showed that there is no single role for traditional rulers, though there seems to be a recent debate as to whether or not traditional rulers should be given constitutional roles and recognition. Before the coming of the colonial masters and even under colonial, when our population was much lesser than what we have today, traditional rulers were effectively in charge of security in their areas of jurisdiction. They have firm knowledge of all nooks and crannies, and every new face in their respective domain is known through their network. What we have now is a loose arrangement whereby the various states accommodate the royal fathers under the supreme thumbs of the state governors. They are largely restricted to maintaining the cultural heritage and acting as the traditional figureheads of their people. Some of them also play roles in settling disputes according to the traditional norms of their localities. In recent times, the debate on roles for traditional rulers also appears superficial, with politicians perceiving the royal institutions as rivals. But experiences have shown that involvement of traditional rulers in the acts of governance will go a long way in solving some teething problems in Nigeria. Speaking to BCOS News, the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Prince Lateef Fagbemi, stated that constitutional roles for for rural institutions is necessary because traditional institutions remain the most accessible and closest to the citizens. The senior advocate of Nigeria added that traditional rulers play an important role in communicating government policies and programs to members of the community and also help in the provision of support during crises. Prince Latif Fagbemi noted that traditional rulers play a great and vital role in maintaining peaceful coexistence in their various communities, hence the need to spell out roles for them in the Constitution.
I will support that the constitutional role be carved for the others because you discover that in times of crisis, these are people you want to for support, to assist us, to members of the community. They are closer to the closest to members of the community than even the governors.
On the issue of constitutional role for deputy governors, the Attorney General of the Federation stated that the people should decide what they want for the deputy governor.
To give to the deputy governor and any other person for that matter depends on what the members of the public want. And this can be encapsulated in the amendment to the Constitution. When the time comes, let them make their views known.
With views and proposals of major stakeholders, coupled with a paper about 3 years ago by the Traditional Rulers Council across the 6 geopolitical zones, where they clearly stated how they want the traditional institutions to function, in this present dispensation, there is the need for the 10th National Assembly to put in place a constitutional amendment in creating a vital role for the country's rural institutions.
The federal government today confirmed 7,202 cases of diphtheria out of the 11,587 suspected cases across 105 local government areas in 18 states, including the Federal Capital Territory. The government disclosed this in a joint press statement signed by the Federal Ministry of Health and Social Welfare, the National Primary Health Care Development Agency, the Nigeria Center for Disease Control and Prevention, and other development partners. The statement noted that most of the confirmed cases were recorded in Kano with 6,185 cases. The statement added that 5,299 of the confirmed cases, which is 73.6%, occurred among children aged 1 to 14 years, with those aged 5 to 14 years bearing most of the brunt of the disease. So far, a total of 453 deaths have occurred in confirmed cases, giving a case fatality rate of 6.3%.
The Joint Task Force of Operation Hadarin Daji has rescued another 7 female students of the Federal University Gusau in Zamfara State from the captivity of bandits. The bandits attacked the university and abducted over 20 students from their rented lodge in the Sabon Gida Bungudu local government area of the state last Friday. This was revealed in a counterinsurgency publication focused on the Lake Chad region, Zagazola Makana. According to the publication, the 7 students were rescued alongside 3 male workers of Gopran Engineering Services Limited. The troops had earlier rescued 6 female students on the same day of the abductions. This translates to a total of 13 students so far rescued.
Few consumers have decried the alleged sale of adulterated fuel by some petrol stations, wanting to maximize profit on the heels of petrol subsidy removal. BCS reporter Sharon Ejemai takes a look at this unfolding unpleasant development and the impact on innocent Nigerians.
Adulteration is the mixing of foreign substances with products like petrol, diesel, kerosene, and other crude oil products. The foreign substance could vary from water to methanol or even gasoline. It is a dirty trick employed by foreign marketers and consumers into buying substandard fuel to maximize profits. However, the damages of these actions are endless, especially on the vehicles, including the eventual breakdown of the vehicle. Recall that earlier this year, when the economy was facing fuel and cash scarcity, There are multiple reports of petroleum stations selling adulterated fuel. Many motorists suffered car damages and breakdowns. To propose solution, NNPC had to recall adulterated fuel to reduce the circulation and listed out the names of petrol stations that sold it. This effort proved effective, but despite that, there are recent reports that some petroleum stations sell adulterated fuel to their customers. Some motorists and fuel consumers who are falling victims to adulterated fuel complain that when they had purchased the fuel, it finished quicker than the estimated due date. They expressed their displeasure, stating that the cost of petrol was too expensive to waste on substandard fuel.
Sometimes, this usually happen, but not every time. As you now, the filling station we have in our area here is different from each other. Sometimes you can buy 5 liters or 10 liters for one filling station. Let me just say, within a couple of hours, you just see everything has been dry. I'm not supposed to be. I don't know, some filling stations are used to say that, but some filling stations used to buy free. Sometimes we will just carry this like 2 to 3 people, we will just finish. So this is not good for us again. Everybody is suffering, everybody, people now, all now we used to carry 300, but now for all of them carry 200 to a year. How much for you? Hey, and police will not for you. So we don't know what. So filling stations are selling petrol fuel, and we will just ask government to just help us and we move forward to a filling station to study them. Maybe they are buying fake petrol, everything. And some filling station, maybe the water is leak inside their tank or their bed. So all the filling stations are supposed to manage their tank very well. So we should not buy half petrol and half water.
All efforts made by BCS News to speak with some managers of petrol stations proved abortive. Although it must be noted that the rate at which adulterated fuel is sold now has reduced to a bearable amount. Sharon Ejimel, BCS News.
And now to sports. The wait for Team Oyo's first medal, the ongoing 7th National Youth Games in Asaba Delta State, is finally over as the pacesetter struck gold in the 10-kilometer male individual time trial in cycling. The source reporter from Asaba, Toby Ajiwale, reports that Ibrahim Ajibale crossed the finish line in 16 minutes 18.9 seconds to edge out Lagos and Kaduna, who finished in second and third place. All State cycling coach Akinola Oluwaseyi said all of the hard work had finally paid off, but stressed that the team will not rest on its oars. Ibrahim Ajibale will next be in action on Wednesday when the 40-kilometer male criterion elimination event takes place.
And now on the foreign scene. The Malian military government has announced it will delay a presidential election scheduled for February, which was aimed at returning civilian leaders to power in the conflict-ridden West African nation. So round initially set for February 4 and 18 will be slightly postponed for technical reasons, according to government spokesman Abdoulaye Lega. Those reasons include issues linked to the adoption this year of a new constitution and a review of the electoral lists. He also cited a dispute with French company Demer, which the government said is involved in the census process. The new date for the presidential election will be communicated later.
And to end this edition of Newscope, here again are the main points. A wing of the Supreme Court complex situated at the 3-line zone in Abuja was today engulfed by fire. It was meant that the fire, which started around 7 a.m., caused panic among personnel of the court, who scampered for safety.
The Lagos State Governorship Election Petitions Tribunal today dismissed the petition brought by Gbadebo Revival and his party, the Labour Party, challenging the victory of Governorship Baba Jide Sanwo-Olu in the March 18 governorship election. The tribunal also dismissed the petition filed by Olajide Adediran, also known as Jandel of the People's Democratic Party.
Governor Shea Makinde has assured the people of Ogbomoso Zone that his government will give priority to development needs and requests made during the stakeholders consultative meeting for the year 2024 budget. This was contained in the governor's message to the meeting attended by all relevant stakeholders in the zone in Ogbomoso town.
And we also told you that the Malian military government has announced it will delay a presidential election scheduled for February, which was aimed at returning civilian leaders to power in a conflict-ridden West African nation. Two rounds of voting initially set for February 4 and 18 will be slightly postponed for technical reasons, according to government spokesman.
And that's all from Newscope Desk for now. It was packaged by Tola Teriba and delivered by Deji Owotumi and
oluyolefm.
Thank you very much for listening, and do not forget to tune in for the Yoruba version at 8 p.m. Good evening.
From the city of Ibadan, the home of ancient rulers, in the Pacesetter state, this is oluyolefm 98.5 Ibadan.
láti kéde nílé akéde tòun lò ó nílò kó o ṣe máa dára rẹ láàmú sọ pé òun kò bọ̀ wá sílé akéde lórí ìta Basọ̀rọ̀ Olúbàdàn náà pàápàá jùlọ láti ṣe ìkéde yẹn polówó ọjà yẹn tàbí fún tọ́jọ́ tó sì yẹ tó àwọn aráàlú létí bóyá nípa àpàdé nípa àsọjí àbí nǹkan kan àbẹ̀wò ìtẹ̀bálẹ̀ fẹ́ ṣe ètò ìyàgbẹ́ àgbáyé kí ni ohun tẹ́ fẹ́ ṣe hàn wá 09158703300 lórí àgbàdo kí ló ń ṣẹlẹ̀ WhatsApp nọ́mbà ìkànnì àmọ́ ni ọ̀rọ̀ ni kò sẹ́. Stress-free, courtesy BCOS. You don't have to stress yourself coming down to Ile Akede, every time I show anybody again, to make that announcement and place that advert. Book online, personal announcements, obituaries, or in memoriam, annual conventions, workshops, crusades, social diaries, inter-house sport competitions, musical shows or concerts, and other promotions. Very simple. Go online to book. For transmission on BCS radio channels or BCS TV, and simply call 091 5870 3300 or WhatsApp on the same number 091 5870 3300. BCOS, another giant in a class of its own.
Is this a mistake? Oh, what's that? What happened? So, I just bought 1,000 naira data, and instead of usual, I got 3.9 gigabytes. Guy, I swear, that's how I saw it too. I bought 2,000 naira data yesterday, and I got a whopping 9.2 gigabytes. Wow! Your data is just always bigger. Yep, and always better. I swear down. Good. Really, you're saying?
I'm leaving this network and getting a Glo SIM immediately. And I'm not giving you my new number. You're on probation. Why did you tell me about this new Glo data plans?
Glo new data plans. Always bigger, always better. Babe, sorry now. Yes, get a Glo SIM card today and enjoy bigger, better data of Glo Network. Just dial *777# and choose your plan. And if you need your internet to Glo line, up to free $20,000 awaits you.
Ọ̀gá Fẹ́mi, ẹ tún fẹ́ ra òògùn ikọ́ ni, kí ló dé tí ẹ ti ṣe àyẹ̀wò tí mo ní kẹ́ ṣe?
Ikọ̀ yìí ìfàyè ẹ̀rọ ìgbà tí mi ní kọ́ tọ́kọ̀ tí ò lọ, wọ́n lọ ṣàyẹ̀wò tó fi hàn pé ikọ̀ ọ̀fẹ́ ni àtàyẹ̀wò àti tọ́jú ikọ̀ ọ̀fẹ́ ọ̀fẹ́ ni wọ́n ṣe gbogbo ẹ̀ fún mi. Nísì ara mi ti yá gẹ́gẹ́.
Ẹ yẹ̀ wò ó, kẹ́ lè mọ̀ dájú nítorí ẹni tí ò lọ kò lè mọ̀.
Ẹgbẹ́ kúròrò fún ikọ̀ ìfẹ́ tí o bá ní nǹkan tí ó ti ní lọ́sẹ̀ méjì tí ò kásẹ̀ nílẹ̀ ó lè jẹ́ ẹgbẹ́ ìfẹ́ ọ̀fẹ́ láyẹ̀wò àti ìtọ́jú ikọ̀ ìfẹ́.
ìwọ ṣáà ti pe nọ́mbà ìdáhùn kíákíá orílẹ̀-èdè fún ikọ́ ife ní 3340 tàbí kí o tẹ *3340# fún àlàyé sí iwájú sí i. Ìkéde yìí wá láti ọ̀dọ̀ ilé-iṣẹ́ ìjọba àpapọ̀ tó ń mójútó ètò ìlera pẹ̀lú àtìlẹ́yìn àwọn ará ìlú Amẹ́ríkà.
98.5.
From the city of Ibadan, the home of ancient railroads, in the Pacesetter state, this is oluyolefm 98.5 Ibadan.
láti kéde bóyá akéde tó rẹ̀ lò ó nílò kí wọ́n ṣe máa dára rẹ̀ láàmú sọ pé òun kò bọ̀ wá sílé akéde ló ń ta bá sọ̀rọ̀ ń Ìbàdàn náà pátá jùlọ láti ṣe ìkéde yẹn polówó ọjà yẹn tàbí fún tọ́tọ́ tó sì lè tó àwọn aráàlú létí bóyá nípa àpàdé nípa